Tekken 8 has achieved significant success within the fighting game community. However, the game's appeal goes beyond its mechanics to include its storyline. Tekken 7 was intended to be the final chapter in the long-standing feud within the Mishima family, with an old series antagonist emerging in its wake. Tekken 8 has already demonstrated that future Tekken games would be wise not to reverse this decision. Heihachi Mishima was a central antagonist for much of Tekken's history. In contrast to his son, Kazuya Mishima, the other main antagonist of Tekken, despite sharing villainous tendencies, the feud between Heihachi and Kazuya is one of Tekken's longest-running storylines. Tekken 7's story concluded the final chapter of their rivalry, and although both of them have survived lethal circumstances before, Tekken should avoid using another villainous revival. One of Heihachi's earliest villainous acts was throwing his young son Kazuya off a cliff. Kazuya would return the favor in the very first Tekken game. However, after surviving falling off a cliff just as his son had, Heihachi escalated their fighting even more by throwing Kazuya into a volcano at the end of Tekken 2. Kazuya managed to survive the fall into the volcano and continued to fight back and forth with his father for the next several games. Kazuya and Mishima have had their ups and downs, but despite occasionally being forced to put their differences aside, the mutual hatred between the two never died down. In fact, the miraculous circumstance that allowed Kazuya to survive the volcano is the very same trait that sparked his father's hatred, the devil gene. Heihachi correctly believed Kazuya inherited the devil gene from his mother Kazumi and sought to erase it by killing them both. Likewise, Kazuya hates his father because of the death of his mother and has been seeking revenge ever since. While Kazuya and Heihachi's climactic battles have defined much of the series' history, it shouldn't go on to define Tekken's future. Kazuya finally claimed his revenge in Tekken 7 by casting Heihachi into a volcano. Tekken 9 should accept the finality of previous game, and Tekken 8 has already shown plenty of promise. Although Kazuya has survived being thrown into a volcano, this doesn't mean that Heihachi can do the same just because they're related. After all, he doesn't share the devil gene he persecuted his son for. More importantly, it would simply be redundant to have Heihachi return yet again. And Tekken has more interesting stories to follow in the future. Following in the footsteps of its predecessor, Tekken 8 focuses on another long-running conflict within the Mishima family. Rather than battling his father, Kazuya sets his eyes and fists against his son, Jin Kazama. Jin is the protagonist of most Tekken games and has about as much of a grudge against Kazuya as Kazuya did against Heihachi. Just as Tekken 7 ended the long battle between Kazuya and Heihachi, Tekken 8 concluded another long chapter in the series' history. Kazuya and Jin's days are both far from over, though the story of the Devil Gene seems to be coming to a close. However, the Devil Gene isn't finished yet, and Tekken 9 has a lot going for it if it aims to put together a fresh narrative. While Heihachi may be dead, and the Devil Gene's influence may be waning, both of their stories are alive and well within Reina. Reina is one of Tekken 8's most popular new characters. She is the daughter and successor of Heihachi, and shares an unforeseen connection to the Devil Gene, despite seemingly being unrelated to Kazumi. Reina is seemingly out to get revenge on Kazuya for killing Heihachi, and reviving their father would certainly cheapen this plot hook, while Heihachi's return would provide plenty of fan service. It would also take away a lot of the catharsis from previous games. Jin and Kazuya's rivalry has as much excitement as Heihachi and Kazuya's did. Furthermore, Reina is a new antagonist to the series who could bring as much weight as Heihachi. Despite Heihachi's death, the Mishima family story is alive and well, and reviving him would do Tekken more harm than good. So what's your thought about should Heihachi return to Tekken? Or should future games focus on new story arcs and antagonists? Comment down and like the video, subscribe the channel, stay tuned. Thank you everyone.